This problem is asking us to write the equation of a line with the given properties. The line goes through the points 4, -5, and -2, 7. In this equation, I have 2 points, neither of which is the y-intercept. Neither has a 0 as its first coordinate. So I don't know the y-intercept yet, and I'm also not given the slope. But I know that if I have 2 points, I can find the slope. And I know to write the equation of a line, I need the slope. So that would be the first thing I would do. I will use the slope formula. Slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Rise over run, the change in y over the change in x. So I can pick one point to be point 1 and one point to be point 2. It doesn't matter which I choose, so I'm just going to call the first one point 1. And the second one, 0.2, and I'm going to go ahead and label. The 0.1 would have x1, y1 as its coordinates, and 0.2 would have x2, y2. So 4 is x1, -5 is y1, and -2 is x2, 7 is y2. I'm going to take the values for each of the x and y's and plug them into the appropriate place in the formula. So I have y2, which I have is 7, minus y1, which is -5. And on the denominator, I have x2. My x2 is -2, minus x1, and x1 was 4. Now I'm going to simplify that. 7 minus a -5 is 12. And -2 minus 4 is -6. If you have any question on those, go ahead and use your calculator to make sure you're working with those sign numbers correctly. Then that fraction can reduce. 12 divided by -6 is -2. So now I know my slope equals -2. I want to end up with an equation. And the equation I want to end up with is the equation of a line. So I want to end up with this y equals mx plus b form of a line. And in order to do that, I need to find a slope, and I need to know the b coordinate of my y-intercept, where the line passes through the y-axis. So right now I have my m. So now I know I have y equals, I'm going to put in the -2 for m, -2x plus b. I still need to find b. They did not give me the y-intercept here. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to calculate it. I do know the slope and I know some points. So what I can do is choose either of those 2 points, plug the values in for x and y, and then I'll be able to solve for b. It doesn't matter which point I choose. I'm going to go ahead and choose the point for -5. And I'm going to substitute the values from that point in for y and x. So y is -5. I have -2 times x, and x in this case is 4. And I have plus b. Now I have an equation where I only have one variable. I can solve for it. -5 equals -8 plus b. And to isolate b, I would add 8 to both sides. So b equals -5 plus 8 is 3. So now I have the 2 things I need to write an equation y equals mx plus b form. I have the slope and I have a value for b. So I go back over and I say, well, I know now y equals the slope, -2, x plus b, 3. And that is my equation for that line in the form y equals mx plus b. Now the great thing about these is that once you get these done, you can use your graphing calculator to check your answer. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to put up my graphing calculator right here and kind of step through the steps. So on the graphing calculator, I'm going to go into my y equals menu right here, and it's going to pull up where I can put in equations. And I want to put in the equation that I just got, -2x plus 3. So I'm going to go down to the bottom here and push the negative button to get my negative, and then 2. I'm going to push this variable button right here that says xt theta to get my x, and then I wanted plus 3. So I have y equals -2x plus 3. I go into my graph menu to graph that. So there's my line. And now what I can do is I can use the calc function on my calculator to plug a value in for x and find the y for that's associated with that x on the line. So I go to second calc, and I'm going to choose the first choice on their value. So I'm just going to push number 1 or hit enter to choose value. And at the bottom of the screen, it's going to prompt me for an x, and I'm going to put in the first x I have, 4. Once I do that, I'm going to push enter. And it will show me on the line that when x equals 4, y equals -5. It'll show where that point is. And that is what I was hoping. When I put in 4, I got out -5 for the y. So that point is on the line y equals -2x plus 3. I can do the same thing to check the other point. So I'm going to go back and do second calc again. And then again, I'm going to choose value by either pressing 1, since it's the first choice on the menu, or by just pushing enter because it's already has the highlight on it. And in this case, I'm going to put in my -2 value for x. So I'm going to type in -2. And when I hit enter, I'm sure hoping it pops me out a 7. So I hit enter. It says y equals 7 down here, shows where the point is. So I was able to check that both these points fall on this particular line, and that is a 100% check that that line is accurate, and I can feel confident in my answer.